12:51 for 5K. Can you get your head around that? That's 12 minutes and 51 seconds to run 5 kilometers. 5,000 meters in 12 minutes and 51 seconds. I can't get my head around CHEPTEGEI's run in this past week. 5K is one of those distances that we can all kind of get our heads around. It's park run distance, isn't it? I'm not going to get embroiled in the whole Nike Vaporfly thing because it's just not worth the hassle and the stress of it all, but there's no doubting that these trainers are making, they're definitely making some inroads into some of the world records that we're seeing tumble at the moment. But I was actually quite interested in looking at the difference between Kipchoge and CHEPTEGEI's marathon distance record that he set, the 1:59.40, compared to the 12:51 that CHEPTEGEI ran the 5K in, because they're massively different distances. Obviously a marathon is around about 8 times 5 kilometers, so it's quite a huge amount difference, but there are some amazing figures if we break down what both of them were able to run. It kind of puts into stark relief really just how amazingly fast Kipchoge was running when he did that 1:59.40. So let's break it down to numbers. So for 5K, CHEPTEGEI was running 12:51. We know that because that was the total race time. Whereas the 8 5Ks in a row that Kipchoge ran, he ran those around about 14:13. So that's CHEPTEGEI's 12:51 versus Kipchoge's 8 in a row 14:13s. Kipchoge effectively ran every single one of those 5Ks only 1 minute and 22 seconds slower than CHEPTEGEI was able to run the whole 5K race. 1 minute and 22 seconds. So when we start to think about the kilometre pacing, Kipchoge was only actually running 16 seconds per kilometre slower than what CHEPTEGEI ran to get his 12:51 5K record. And if we break that down to looking at 400 metre pace, for every 400 metre lap of the track that Kipchoge did, he was only 4 seconds slower than what CHEPTEGEI would have been running those 400 metre laps in. So whilst it's astonishing and insane to try and get your head around how fast that is for 5K, for me, it actually makes me realise just how insanely fast it was, Kipchoge's 1:59.40 for the marathon, because I don't think I could run a single 400 metre lap at that pace at the moment anyway, let alone being able to do it for 5K or for a marathon. And let's face it, I never will do, unless they decide to allow rockets in the new Nike ballistic missile shoe. So, talking about running, I've been out running a lot this week. I've been super inspired by Colin McCourt's amazing mileage that he's been putting in for his marathon training. I think he's done a couple of 80-mile weeks. I know he said in his video that he hasn't actually ever done a 100-mile week, even when he was an elite, and I know he's building up to that. So I've been loving following his journey and his story, and he's such an honest guy, and I've got a lot of respect for that guy. And our pool was out of action from Monday, so I swam Masters last week on Monday night. Haven't been able to get back to the pool because I've had a problem with their roof. It's reopened tonight, so back to Masters. So I decided to put all of my efforts into running, and I've managed to run 5 times this week, 5 5Ks. Most are running ages, some of them a bit slow. That's the idea at the moment, is to try and get the weight off, so I'm running super low kind of zone 1 runs, and I did a couple of progression runs, did an interval session which I really enjoyed doing, some 400s, and just really enjoy getting back into my running. I have to say, that's been the best thing about this week, has been the fact that I've been wanting to go out and do some running training, and I've enjoyed every kind of step of it, more or less. So that's pretty much my training. I've done about 25k, which is the highest distance I've done in ages, and I'm looking forward to kind of building on that gently next week, and also trying to get some more swimming back into this week, just to build up on that side of things also, because last Monday, before they closed the pool, we did a T1000 test, and because one of the lanes was shut because there was a problem with the tiles, I got moved up a lane. Then 2 of the guys in the faster lane decided they were going to swim behind me. I went off too rocket fast. I wasn't fit and really kind of in the kind of condition that I thought I was, and I cramped up and I had a bit of a nightmare swim, if I'm honest with you. So I don't think my swimming's anywhere near where I think it was. I don't think my swimming's anywhere near where I thought it was, that's what I mean, and I'm looking forward to kind of building on that gently. So the running and the swimming are going to be my focus for a bit. I always know that the bike riding always comes back gently anyway, and I'm looking forward to getting out when the wind isn't quite as generally horrible as it is at the minute. Still got the tail end of Storm Dennis, who, what he lacked in punch compared to Kira last week, he certainly seems to be putting up in terms of his stamina. And then finally, to wrap up this week, my food intake has been way better. I've only had a couple of slip-ups here and there. I've kind of gone down this keto route like I was talking about last week. Bulletproof coffee in the morning. Going to have a video coming out in the next couple of days about what bulletproof coffee is and what I'm putting in it. I know most people know about that stuff, but I have to say it's been a bit of a game changer for me. I've been doing the 16/8 fasting, which has worked for me as well, and then just making sure I'm basically sticking to meat and 2 veg and cutting the carbs back. Now, obviously a lot of people have kind of been messaging me saying, you know, about this old idea of keto eating and the problem with that for endurance athletes, and I totally understand that. It's totally fine, but at the minute I'm not doing much intensity. I don't get into that realm really of much glycogen burning, and I am trying to burn fat off. So for me at the moment, with the amount of effort that I'm putting into my sessions and the amount of weight that I need to get on, that keto approach is definitely working for me at this moment in time. And more than anything, I'm just feeling better having cut back on the sugars. I've done my blood tests in the morning, which I've gone back to doing. Those of you that have been watching these videos for the last nearly 2 years may remember that I've had a problem with having pre-diabetes blood glucose levels, and they're back in the normal range at the minute, which is also really encouraging and good to see. I just generally feel a lot brighter and a lot more with it effectively during the day from just eating what I'm eating and getting out and doing some running. So generally speaking, there's not much to report other than the fact that I'm out training a lot more than I was. I'm eating better than I was, and I think I'm pretty much healthy now. I know that I've still got a little bit of snot going on in the head, but I'm sure that'll clear up eventually. I'm certainly not feeling unwell or that I've got a cold, and I don't seem to be injured, and I'm stretching before and after my running sessions at the minute, and it's keeping it all at bay. So as it stands at the minute, what are we, kind of mid-February, getting into the later part of February at the moment? I'm actually feeling super good at the moment. So the priority is to keep that momentum gently building, to keep that weight coming off gently. Oh yeah, and here is the news flash in terms of the weight thing. I'm not going to do the weight challenge with Ian in March because I don't want to focus on it too much so that I end up getting ill. I'm going to concede to failing in January and him beating me. So at some point between now and May, at the end of the prom run, I'm going to have to do it in a pair of Speedos and a vest top. But I want to do it when I'm kind of nearer 90 kilos than I am 100 kilos. So that's my intention. Anyway, that's it for this week. It's been a good solid one. I really hope, I've got to be honest, I really genuinely hope that when I come back to do this video next week, I will have upped the mileage a little bit. I'd have dropped a little bit of weight, not that I'm weighing myself at the minute, but I'd have continued to eat really well, and that my pool swimming will have been a little bit more kind of consistent this week due to the pool being shut. That's it pretty much for this week. Keep an eye out for this bulletproof coffee video that I'm going to do in the next couple of days, and I will see you guys on the next video.